chance.
Excellent. I completely agree. I love ZVZ in Heart of the Swarm, but it takes a different level. Now, I've seen macro games, insane macro games, like Bly versus, I believe it's Bly versus Nurchio, I believe, in one of our Gauntlet qualifiers. Guys, we are now heading to the game, game number 1 of viOLet Masa versus HuK and MC on Dusk Towers for the Gauntlet StarCraft Archon Showmatch Series. $200 is on the line, guys. Best of 5. Thanks for joining us, guys, and being patient. But we are now heading into the game right now. I'm pretty stoked for this, guys. All right, guys. To the north, we have the red Zerg. We have the red Zerg. Sorry, red Protoss. Oh my goodness, Vulcan. Oh my goodness. It is
one of those.
HuK MC. It's one of those. Last week was the same thing, pretty much. Oh.
And in the bottom left of the map, sporting the StarCraft's angry Protoss logo, it is the Pink Terran team. It is viOLet and Masa.
Nice. All right, guys. So we have a probe going out here. Let's see what it's up to. I bet this probe's up to no good. How much do you want to bet there, Falcon?
I agree. I mean, people could be like, oh, you know, it's just scouting, no big deal. But this seems a little bit too early for a regular scout. And based on the players that are controlling this probe, whichever one of it is, I imagine shenanigans are on the way. We'll have to keep an eye on this guy.
Said.
I'm interested in seeing perhaps in the future a time when we can see who's in a heart.
Oh, it's no doubt it's HuK. That's for sure.
Oh, I feel so happy now.
It has been revealed, guys. Oh yes, we do feel the love, but also we do know it's HuK. Actually, it's not bad just to get that probe in there too, so it doesn't get walled off. So maybe it's just a good, this is a healthy scouting probe. Good timing anyway. Otherwise, you never know what shenanigans these Terrans are up to, especially in this base with the expansion in the back. You need to know for sure if they're taking that or not, and they will get that information right away.
Yeah, definitely true. Although for some reason it seems like 80% of the pro matches that I catch, nobody does scout with a worker. And so for some reason, both these players are very concerned about knowing exactly what the other team is doing, which I appreciate. I think it's definitely the smart thing to do. Just kind of throwing me off, though, seeing this probe in here so early. And yeah, it got in. It saw the timing on the command center, recognizes what's going on. It's forcing an extra SCV to chase it around, which is nice. And trying to actually kill this SCV, building the command center.
Oh, my word.
It might be able to get a third SCV pulled off the line to finish building that command center, and it's going to be super duper close on this SCV. Is it going to die? It's going to try to go into the safety of its friends, and what? It was getting repaired. Oh no! The
repair is real.
Falls there. Yeah, the repair keeps it alive, and the probe that was starting the fight is the one that ends up dead.
Yeah, not so bad anyway. The probe was expendable and could not be saved due to the wall off at the front of the base anyway. So it may as well try to take something down with it, but didn't quite manage to do so. Did HuK. But HuK, he's always known as that. He invented pretty much the aggressive probe play, if one could be so bold to call it that. But it's a HuK signature, including the heart, the heart symbol as well. But now we have an adept waddling its way across the map. It's going to try to get some scouting, maybe put a little fear into the hearts of viOLet and Masa, just to
waddle?
Keep them honest. I call it a waddle. It's just the cape makes it. What else would you call it?
It's a confident stride, obviously.
Look at that stride, obviously.
Stride.
Yeah, I suppose that's a more positive way of putting it. Stride. I like that.
Anyway, waddle just sounds like there was an accident of some sort, but yeah, anyway, sorry, you were saying the Adept is up here just to throw some pressure on. More and more Terrans are walling off against Protoss because of this very reason. The Adept cannot sonic transfer that shade through buildings. So that's why you see the wall, and it's definitely doing its job right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And just more Adepts are being produced now. Warp Prism is on the way. So this is something that we predicted that would likely see anyways. Warp Prism, Adept, Micro, and the sort. We got a Playa Council too. If I were a betting man, I'd say they're going to get the Adept attack upgrade. I've seen this multiple times. HuK himself has done this on stream countless times. Many games in a row.
Resonating
just
Glades.
Recently. Yeah.
Yep, Resonating Glades, 45% attack speed increase for those Adepts. So it increases their DPS by quite a bit. They hit a lot harder. They already basically two-shot Marines. They two-shot Lings. They do about 23 damage versus light units. So they're very good in this early game, especially against Terran. And here they come. Now they're in a Warp Prism, making their mobility even better. We'll have to see exactly how viOLet and Masa decide to respond to this. Blink is obviously being chrono boosted and researched. And oh, the Marines are ready for this Warp Prism, though. Get out of there. No, drops the 4 Marines. There are too many Marines, though. immediately picks up the Adepts, escapes. As you noticed, the Warp Prism was not right on top of those Adepts. It was able to pick it up from a distance that was safe for it to do so away from the Marines and avoid dying in the process.
Interesting choice too. Looks like HuK MC is going for Blink rather than the, actually immediate Blink research here. They're not committing to Adepts by the look of it here. To deal with these Liberators too, Blink is awfully handy. And Liberators, as anybody knows who is not Terran, actually, maybe even TVT, Liberators are an issue, but as a Zerg player, they're super annoying, and Protoss have an extraordinarily hard time dealing with them without Blink, and Blink is very necessary.
And one more volley should be able to kill it, and it does. They immediately pull away. The Stalkers are trying to shoo them off, but 3 Stalkers, not enough to kill those really in any amount of time. And the Liberators attempting to set up and do some harassment on the mineral line. Some more Stalkers getting warped in here to defend against this. Excellent response there from the Protoss team. Defender mode circles are thrown up anyway, though, and gets a shot off on one of the Stalkers.
Yeah, they're going to just turtle their way towards that mineral line, try to get some kills, and kills they do get. 2 probes instantly going down. Third one just gets hit. Another Liberator is on the way. A Warp Prism is about to pop out too, so it may enable HuK MC to do some counter aggression of their own, as more gateways are morphing in as we speak. The third Liberator has arrived. A lot of workers are off the line. There's a lot of denied mining time and lost workers. These Stalkers are just going to get picked off so fast by these Liberators. You got to respect the Liberator as the supplies plummet for HuK and MC.
Oh my goodness, they tried, but they got a single Liberator for about 5 or 6 Stalkers there. Not a good trade at all, and our Protoss team is under a lot of stress right now. They have lost already 11 workers.
Oh, jeez. It seems the micro is a little bit off with the Warp Prism micro, but you have to respect that ability of the siege ability of the Liberators. It's so powerful. It doesn't take a whole lot to kill a Stalker, and a lot of Stalkers did go down. But now HuK MC are in the base with some Adepts of Masa and viOLet, going to look to put in some economic hurt in here on the Terran players. But it looks like viOLet and Masa have an excellent spread of their Marines, and will defend this handily.
Yeah, I think maybe 1 or 2 SCVs might have died there if we take a look at the units lost tab. Yeah, total of 11 so far, but I think just in that last battle, it was maybe 2 or 3 in the natural and maybe 1 in the main. But at this point, it's 42 to 39 total harvesters. HuK and MC are coming back in that worker count. They lost a bunch, but they're doing okay with that as well. They're taking a 3rd base, as we can see on the minimap. And a Templar Archives is on the way as well for HuK and MC.
Yeah, they're going to try to keep the Terrans honest right now, just keeping them in their own base with the Blink Stalkers just outside. No 3rd is going to be taken anytime soon yet for the Terran players, but the supply is really telling the different story here. viOLet and Masa can move out, take their 3rd right now with that Stim bio. Not a lot that Blink Stalkers can do. Looks like the tech-wise, we're getting a 3rd for our Protoss brethren as well. And as previously predicted, but a little late, we are getting that attack upgrade going on for our Adepts. So they're going to stick with the Gateway composition and Storm. This is something I've seen from HuK various times. He loves Storm. He says you have to go Storm. He doesn't like going Disruptor versus Terran. As the Blink comes in, manages to pick off a couple Marines and a tank, which is actually a nice little win, but he's going to lose a Stalker by the looks of it. Oh, look. Oh, he managed to take a little pot shot at that tank, but loses a Stalker for that as well. Not a terrible trade, as Stalkers are not the most expensive unit in the game, but at this point, they are quite a bit behind in supply. HuK and MC cannot afford to lose a single unit right now, especially with this gateway-based army, which is largely inefficient. They have no robo units coming out right now, and they're sticking with, Templar tech.
Really
Storm is about halfway done.
Yeah, depending on that Storm to make things happen, basically, because you're absolutely right. No robo facility and no robo bay. Obviously, there is a drop. Looks like it's happening up as well. Not a drop, rather. Liberator harassed, trying to get some things, forcing some probes off the line there as well. And let's just make sure. There we go. Lost my camera for a second there. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, pushing out across the map here. Some Marines with some medevacs, as well as a single tank. We'll see what damage they can do with Combat Shield, with the +1 attack upgrades. And it looks like it might do fairly well, depending on the storms.
Yeah, HuK MC just finished Storm, so it's very fortunate for them as this attack is pushing along their 3rd base. Liberator instantly gets taken up by these Stalkers, which is really a nice win for our Protoss players here. But this bio is still a heavy threat. Storm pushes them back, lets the medevacs use up all their energy. Actually, these medevacs are really low, are getting pretty low in energy as well. Not going to be very effective a whole lot longer, especially with the amount of storms that HuK MC have available to them.
Yeah, definitely. And here we go, blinking right on top of the tank. They do get the tank before we can get picked up by the medevacs. Excellent job there by HuK and MC. And now they are the aggressors. No tank on the field. Storm's available. I just saw some Archons getting morphed in as well. An Immortal being warped in at the same time and getting kind of caught in this choke, though. Not a good place to be for the Protoss team. However, heading and chasing, continuing to be the aggressor, pushing viOLet and Masa back and back with their bio units. And now tides have turned once again.
Oh, a Storm.
As a Storm doesn't do much of anything, but most of these bio units are very low on health, which means they need to get healed up. They don't have the time to really engage right now. There we go. Getting all the available energy for the midbacks, which are pretty darn low, but at the same time, it's just a very low econ battle right here. And finally, viOLet and Masa decided to pick up and get out of there, perhaps going for a drop of their own.
Yeah, they need to try to make something happen with this army here. They're still ahead in supply. Army supply, especially about 30 up from our Protoss players, but the tech-wise, this is a lot of adepts, and with Storm on the field, this bio is ultra squishy. There's not a lot of Marauders right now here for viOLet Masa, so not a lot to tank the hits of the Storm. So I like the plays. I like the game plan from HuK MC as they take their look to take their fourth base. Yep, there it goes, just up right now. Masa and viOLet are doing fine for themselves, safe on 3 bases. They're in no threat of dying right now, but they have to get some damage done to prevent any snowball, the tech snowball extraordinary towards our HuK and MC team here. Some Storms go down, not killing a whole lot. A lot of the army sitting here at the 3rd base for HuK and MC as a drop goes into the natural as well. Nice multitasking here by our Terran players.
Yeah, and you can see there just the sheer number of units of workers that were killed there. 14 total. An Immortal coming on down by itself. I'm not sure what the plan is here. Might be on a bad rally.
It looks like it.
As Marines immediately burn it down, even with that barrier ability popping up.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate miss rally as it was heading towards where the Observer was rallied. But production's in full swing for our Terran players, but they are now behind in supply due to the actually the massive storms and well planned defense from HuK and MC as they are securing their 4th base. 4th is just going up for viOLet and Masa as well, as these guys are heading into what we often call a macro game. As they we'll see what tech choices each player each team chooses to go with right now. As I'm more interested to see what HuK and MC go with, as they've been on this tech. It's revealed to them if Ghosts hit the field, they're going to be in a lot of trouble, as I don't see Ghosts coming out yet for viOLet and Masa. It would be really nice. A little drop comes in here, going to not do a whole lot as Photon Overcharge goes down on these pylons, and some adepts are here to clean up these Marines. But now the move out is happening. Man, these guys are aggressive. viOLet and Masa don't like to sit back too long as they take their 4th, trying to keep the Protoss players on their side of the map as they do so.
Yeah, and this composition is very popular for Terran right now. Marines, Marauders, Widowmines, and a few Liberators in there as well with the medevacs. And they can just continually stream units across the field here as a few forward units end up dead there. But there's the Concave, some Storms on top of Marauders, not doing a whole lot of damage there. Widowmine shots killing what they can. Another nice Storm. The Archon cleans up a bunch at the same time, ends up dead. And reinforcements come along from the top side. But again, reinforcements are continuing to come across the map here from viOLet and Masa. We'll just have to see who can actually hold it here, who can hold their base and make it work.
Overall, I think that was an excellent engagement for HuK and MC. I think that what viOLet and Masa needed to do was spread the attention of HuK MC a little bit. Maybe do a drop in the main. Just spread their attention away, and some of the army away from this 4th base. The whole brute of HuK MC's army, they had high ground advantage. They had lots of Storms. So moving up that ramp is borderline suicide. They just tried to push up the ramp, sieging the Liberators, but the Liberators were immediately picked off by having the Archons tank the initial damage. And I've seen that time and time again, an excellent tactic that Protoss used to push away Liberator defensive lines.
Yeah, and right here, double Storm on all those workers, and getting a Widowmine as well. That's a very popular place to harass this 4th base on both sides of the map. Look at Stalkers on the high ground providing some support. Widowmines are there as well. They do force the Protoss player back though. And again, just in the low ground, trying to defend these units on the high ground. The Templar with another Storm there. Right on top of those minerals. None of these SCPs are mining. These mules are timing out, which is not what they want at all. They want to be mining. Widowmine is able to burrow right close to the edge and force the Protoss player back a little bit.
Exactly. The bio and Widowmine spread is excellent right now for viOLet and Masa. HuK MC has to be very careful with pushing in through this choke, but there's more Storm on the top. Storms right down onto the workers, killing another slew of them as HuK MC have a significant worker lead with 71 workers versus the 58 SCVs of our Terran players. Some Adepts are looking to make their way into the main, and they they get denied with the quick raise of that supply depot, and they will get caught out there. But this will give a little bit of opportunity for HuK MC to move down and pressure that 4th base.
Archons leading the charge, taking shots from tanks as well. Adepts with that Resonating Glaives upgrade, just shooting a little bit faster. Immortals on the back, hitting those Marauders with everything they have to go with. More Adepts swinging in. Big storms on top of all the workers there, just massacring the SCVs. 16 died there. On top of the army are some units, but the high ground is still held by viOLet and Masa. Can they do it? A storm on top of tanks, not something you see every day. Marauders falling at the same time. This base forced to lift off at the 4th. The 3rd is under assault as well. Adepts actually holding their own here into the mid to late game. Surprising events. Armory ends up falling as well as supply depots left and right. Archon's getting morphed into the 3rd base as well, and I think viOLet and Masa might be able to barely hold this off, but they lost so much already. They're down to 30 total harvesters. And what can they do to come back and win this game? I just don't know. What a strong push from our Protoss team.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of mines on that ramp right now, and if HuK MC not careful, a lot of their ground army can get evaporated. But it looks to be they're just going to storm it, actually, get some of those mines at super low health, as they have the 3 Immortals right now and 2 Archons right on the front line here, including storms from 2 Templars, or 3 Templars, I should say. They have an excellent position here, forcing the GG. HuK MC take game number 1 in this best of 5 for the Gauntlet StarCraft Archon Showmatch. $200 on the line, guys, and HuK MC, they love their money. That is for sure.
Indeed. Wow. Again, just a back and forth that is so typical of Archon mode. Neither player really seemed to have the upper hand until the very end.
Yeah, it was
the
pretty
Immortals,
close game.
Adepts, just very strong towards the final part of that match. The Storms were good. They were on point. They were dodged fairly well, again, by the Terran team, but in the end, just not enough, and Terran falls in game number 1.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort by Masa and viOLet. They were in the lead, and a pretty healthy lead, too, at that. They perhaps stayed on 3 bases a little bit too long, as the 4th base was secured quite a bit earlier for our Protoss players, and they got that. They defended well, too, so it was an interesting drop. They had a drop on them in the main of MC and HuK with Liberators, but that was crushed a lot more effectively than it seemed, because their supply just disappeared. And they were ahead supply by what, 20 30 supply, and then they were behind about 20 supply by the end of it. So excellent hold by HuK and MC. We know these guys are powerhouses. These guys are now just renowned for being the best Archon team so far in this very young history of Legacy of the Void, as far as we've had Archon mode. All right, guys, this is the Gauntlet StarCraft Archon Showmatch, guys. The event is brought to you by Next Recall and Falcon Paladin, who's with me here today. The event is sponsored by Cetone and the Gauntlet crew. Follow them at Gauntlet SC2 on Twitter. Guys, also Monday, the global finals start. The Gauntlet global finals, $1,000 on the line, guys. 16 players will battle out for that $1,000 prize pool. Starts at 3 p.m. CST. That is 3 p.m. Central Time, Monday, December 14th, guys. We have Mana, viOLet, Polt, True, Jokji, Firekick, Beyond, and many more. It'll be exciting. Whole ton of amazing games, Falcon. We had 2 qualifiers. We saw some of the best games I've ever seen in Legacy of the Void. And, I mean, you were with me each step of the way. Did you have any standout players or moments in those qualifiers?
Obviously, Nurchio, who won the European qualifier. Wait, was it European or North American? I don't know.
He won the North American one. Firecake won the other one, yeah. Yeah,
that's right. Firecake with the second one. Yeah, Nurchio, again, just a player who's been around for a long time, and I never really considered him to be super top tier, which maybe is my fault, but he showed stupendously well, I thought, in those qualifying rounds, just absolutely playing the Swarm and playing Zerg to its fullest, and ended up pulling out the complete win in the end. So I'm looking to see how he'll perform in the global finals against much better competition and see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, we did see a lot of a couple of excellent matches, in particular the Bly Nurchio series. I found was astounding. I mean, Bly in general just played out of his mind in these events, qualifying twice because he participated in both. The guy, but also by qualifying twice, it allowed one of the opponents he did beat, a relatively unknown Senin, to qualify. Though Senin had an excellent run as well. He was definitely a fan favorite in the the Twist Cat, as we call it, the Twitch chat. Guys, we're heading to game number 2 right now into Rune of Ceres for this Gauntlet StarCraft's Archon show match. MC HuK versus viOLet and Masa. Game 2, guys, starting up right now. So to the right side of the map, we have the blue Protoss. Taking game number 1, it is HuK and MC.
And to the left side, in Ruins of Ceres, we have the pink Zerg team. It is viOLet and Masa.
Is it pink for you? Or is it green?
I
don't know.
Absolutely pink for me. What is it for you? Is it green?
It's green, totally.
What?
So maybe we're just like listing off colors and everybody sees it different. That's amazing. Oh, there we go. There's the pink. I got it now. All right, cool.
Okay,
we're all good.
All
now.
right.
Anyway, but we just saw the real championship level that HuK and MC are. These guys are, veterans in StarCraft 2 throughout the history of StarCraft 2 from 2010 and on. And then coming into Legacy of the Void, the new era of StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 has never been better. It's just never been better. It's the funnest to watch. That's not even real. Like, it's the most fun to watch. It's the most fun to play. And these guys are showing it in this Archon mode. Next level play that you cannot possibly see in a 1v1. And that's saying something, considering how crazy Legacy of the Void is. And these guys are the best. I really hope to see Archon mode take off, and HuK and MC will definitely be leading that charge. viOLet and Masa, though, can't count them out. These guys are clearly high level. I mean, they had HuK MC looking to be in a pretty bad position for quite some time in that game.
Indeed, they did. Like, they were on the front door. They were threatening that 4th base for quite a while. They got up to the 3rd base as well, and a ton of damage as well from the Liberator opening, but in the end, it's just not enough as the probe escapes from the droves that are trying to kill it. Say droves? Drones? Drones that are trying to kill it?
Yeah, droves of drones.
Droves.
Yeah.
It's like a hybrid from the campaign. That's what they use.
Oh.
Droves. Mm-hmm.
Droves. That's great. All right, both players taking their expansion as expected in this case. Legacy of the Void, you need to take your expansions quickly. And why is that, Falcon? Why do you need to take your expansions faster than normal?
Because your income is through the roof, Bobby Awesome. It is so high. You start out with 14 workers. The mineral count starts to add up so fast. You need the additional production facilities if you're Zerg, so you expand. The other thing is that the mineral counts are not as high as they were in Heart of the Swarm. And so they mine out more quickly, especially with that extra worker count. So which means if you try to sit on 2 base, you'll get mined out a lot faster than you used to, and you will die and be starved out much more quickly. So continued expansion is kind of the theme in Legacy of the Void.
Something that Min just pointed out to me, and something I feel rather embarrassed about. We never mentioned this yet. viOLet and Masa are Zerg right now.
I said Zerg.
I know, but I'm thinking, like, to me it's natural to see viOLet be Zerg, and so I see viOLet, I read that first, and then Zerg immediately, everything's okay with the world. But I didn't. Now I realize they just race switched, guys, and that's totally awesome. But now we get to see who takes the reins here. I do not know who does what in the Terran. I'm pretty sure Masa does the macro, viOLet does the micro in that particular setup. But in the Zerg, when they pick the Zerg race, I'd have to believe that viOLet's doing the macro and Masa is largely sticking with the micro. Although they probably do share responsibilities once the game heats up, as any good Archon team does.
It makes a lot of sense, and I always wonder how the high-level players do it, because when I'm playing with my friends, sometimes I'll want to be like, hey, I want to use this army to go over here, but I don't communicate it well, so I end up taking it from my teammate, and they get mad. But I have to imagine, I hope that they're talking to each other and at least communicating in some way to make that work, because that can be confusing if you don't know exactly what you're doing there.
Yeah, you got to take full advantage of being in Archon mode too. You can't have one guy just doing macro, one guy just doing micro. At some point in the game, both doing micro is where the difference is in this mode, where the action is everywhere, and you split their attention. And whoever's better at delegating your tasks and controlling those segments of the army will come ahead in every little engagement. And speaking of little engagements, that's a lot of what Legacy of the Void is. There's action everywhere. There's action multiple places in general, as we're seeing here, a little bit of poking from viOLet Masa with these lings, keeping HuK and MC honest. And we do have that adept attack speed upgrade, the glaives upgrade here. What did that increase to? 40%, 45%, I believe, of the adept's attack speed, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's 45%, the Resonating Glaives attack speed upgrade. It's absolutely insane. Gives them more viability in the late game, which is exactly what Protosser players were looking for. They felt like Adepts were good in the early game, but once the shields got nerfed and taken down, they really wanted them to exist somewhere besides the early game, and now they do. So excellent response from Blizzard on that one, and now Adepts are units that you do see throughout all the entire game, as we saw in game number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. The concern was, like, why would I build Adepts, not just Zealots later in the game, as I'm doing a mineral dump, so to speak. And I like that. It gives them a little longevity, as you mentioned, towards the mid and late game. Also, and it opens up a little bit more tactics. As such, we've seen with these Warp Prism, micro and drops and multitasking. They have so much utility, and there's still a place for Zealots. Zealots still have a role to play in the early game, even late game in certain situations. And Stalkers, well, they'll always be, the largely anti-air, or if you mass them for micro or use with disruptors. I like this now more than ever. Protoss gateway units have a reason in the later game, and that's just because of the Adept and the changes they made with it. We do have a push going out here by viOLet Masa. We got some Ling Roach Ravager, a very popular composition, one I like to use myself. We'll see what they will try to do. As a Warp Prism is moving across the map, unbeknownst to viOLet and Masa, HuK MC will look to put in some counter damage as this attack is going to occur on the 4th base.
Yeah, so here come the Ravagers throwing down that Corrosive Bile ability to try to take out the pylon, so it cannot be Photon Overcharge, but it is in the end. Anyway, not enough Ravagers to actually make that happen. And yeah, the Warp Prism, that's interesting to see. HuK and MC, when they see an attack coming, automatically it's time to drop. So that's the attitude that for the pro players that maybe regular players like me and you do not have. But in the end, they're trying to threaten the natural base. Ravagers just trying to get shots off here. More Corrosive Bile being thrown down as well, trying to do what they can. The Adepts, though, on here, the drones are forced to attack. That is never good because they do get two-shot by these Adepts. The Queen trying to snipe down that Warp Prism as well. Is it going to get it? No, not able to do so. The Lings and the Ravagers at the front must do damage of their own because terrible damage is going down back home at the natural. The Adepts are just refusing to die. I think all 4 of them are still alive, as well as more that got warped in. Psionic transferring down to the 3rd base as well, and there's just nothing here right now for viOLet and Masa.
Wow, 18 workers have gone down for our Zerg players as they do push this gateway force away. The Mortal will go down too. Pretty expensive units. These Adepts are trying to get any cost-effective engagement as they can. There's a Mothership Core here, but there's only a couple pylons and they're a little bit behind the next, as more damage is still being done in the main base of viOLet and Masa, getting their money's worth out of that Warp Prism and Adepts. I like that they bought time at their 4th base, or at their expansion with the Adepts and Immortals and Sentries. So they could do this counter damage, and they committed to it. They did another warp, and as you said before, lesser players would not have committed units to the other side of the map when you have enemy units at your front door. And that is, but that's them. They knew they could handle it. We have double Stargate coming up here for HuK and MC as we see a transition. Well, we'll see what they decide to go with this transition.
And mutas are what it actually is, they saw the mutas. They might have seen the Spire immediately double Phoenix coming out of the Stargate to counter the Mutalisks. That's exactly what they're trying to do there. Yep.
A little reminiscent, although they're not going about it the same way. I do like I saw in the qualifiers the other week, Myungshik doing his patented Myungshik build where he'd do disruptor drops, forcing the Zerg player to go transition into Mutas to deal with the Warp Prism and the disruptor play, but preemptively building double Stargate and pumping out Phoenix to deal with the Mutalisks, and then getting Blink and then Mass Blink Stalker follow up after that. Beautiful play by that the Korean Protoss player Myungshik, and we're not seeing that exact play here, but the concept is the same. Nice response by HuK MC, and now the attack is happening right here. But that's not a very big Zerg force to deal with this amount of Sentries and Immortals.
Yeah, the 2 Immortals alone should do a ton of damage to those Roaches. Those are armored units, obviously, so the Immortals will cause extra damage to them. The Mutas come flying around the backside. They're going to pick off a couple of workers here. The Phoenix immediately try to respond. There are 6 of them on the field. The Mutas need to get out of there because they will die if they stick around. With this many Phoenix on the field, outnumbered. Yeah, they're just trying to kill as many probes as they can before they can actually get exploded. And 10 probes did fall. Meanwhile, 4 drones were taken out at a small push-up here at the 4th base. It is still 61-61 Harvesters, so both players fairly even on their worker count. But again, being forced to retreat again in the face of this Immortal composition with the Phoenix in the air, picking up Ravagers and lifting them off. Oh, just a mean strategy there indeed. Very strong. And the Roach Ling army looks very small indeed as we're backing up onto the creep. What is going to be the response from viOLet and Masa? It looks like it might just be Ravager, Roach, Hydralisk then just popped in, yeah.
Well, you got to get the money's worth out of these Phoenixes. They're not free, and there were only a handful of Mutalisks, so picking up some of these Ravagers is a good play to eliminate their splash damage capabilities. And Blink forward happens right away for HuK MC as they do lift up those Ravagers, trying to engage this army. You have all of the sentries immediately get evaporated, though, but these Immortals are putting in the work.
Yeah, the Immortals absolutely just now taking fire. 5 kills and 5 kills each on those guys, continuing to rack up the kills. They still refuse to die or living up to their name of Immortal. More and more Stalkers are just blinking to stay alive at the same time. And Disruptor, Purification Nova. Get some damage off there. Good dodge, though. In the end, it's basically Queen Hydra right now against a much, much bigger Protoss force. And the Zerg army is getting absolutely decimated here. Individual Hydras popping in, but that's it. A GG. From viOLet, GG from Masa, and HuK and MC win game number 2.
Yeah, wow, what an excellent game. Again, in control the whole way. The risks they take, that's the sign of high-level, skilled champions. Just, like, I'll touch on this again, and this is very important, is when there's an attack in front of your base, the natural reaction is, I'm going to use all my resources now to build units at my base so I don't die to this. But HuK and MC realize, okay, he can't kill us with that army that's pushing at our expansion, so let's just buy time. Let's just not die, and while we're not dying, we're warping and stuff in their main, and they die. And we saw that the economic damage was immense to Masa and viOLet, and that's exactly what HuK and MC were banking on. That Masa and viOLet had invested so much in their push, yet it wasn't enough to seal the deal on their side. I mean, they did nothing economically. They may have killed a couple gateway units here and there, but nothing ultimately, got lost economically for our Protoss players. And yet, on the other side of the map, the economy was devastated for Masa and viOLet. And the game just pretty much just followed that path the rest of the game, no matter what we saw. I mean, it's a valiant effort to come back worker-wise and do some damage of their own with the Mutalisks, but the Mutalisks got shut down hard and fast, and enabled HuK MC just to solidify that win in dominating fashion. Guys, this is the Gauntlet StarCraft Archon Showmatch. HuK MC versus Masa and viOLet. $200 for the winner. Winner takes all, guys. I'm Bobby Awesome. With me is Falcon Paladin, guys. This event is sponsored by the Gauntlet C-Tone and the Gauntlet Crew. Please follow them at Gauntlet SC2 on Twitter. Guys, also a little announcement. Global Finals. The Gauntlet Global Finals. $1,000 prize pool. For those who have been following the Gauntlet series for the last month or so, will occur on Monday. That is 3 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. CST. Monday, December 14th. 16 players will battle out for that $1,000 prize pool. Jock G, Mana, viOLet, Pult, True Firekick, Bjorn, and many more. There's a GATA players and super high level players and some, some unknown players like Senin. We had also the Weakness, aka J King, as some know him by. So a lot of pretty sick games are going to be happening, guys. That is Monday, so mark that on your calendars. It'll be, I'm super stoked for that event. I know you are as well, Falcon. And it looks like we're heading to the game number 3. This is match point. Remember, this is a best of 5. If HuK MC take this, they do take home that $200. So we are heading into the match right now. So to the north, we have the blue Protoss players, HuK and MC.
And to the south, we have the red Zerg players. It is viOLet and Masa.
viOLet and Masa.
Is it red to you now?
It's red. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. That was so weird. All right. Anyway, so PvZ again, a rematch of the same setup in game number 2. Choosing to go with Zerg again here in game number 3 did viOLet and Masa. And going obviously with the early hatch here is very safe to do so. Again, my own pet theory for Falcon Paladin is that the rush distance to get over there with a probe, throw it on pylons and throw it on cannons is the same as it's always been. But the time it takes for a Zerg to get a hatchery up is very, very shortened. And so by the time the probes get down there, they try to throw it on some pylons. The response with the spawning pool and the hatchery hatching is just too far along. And so I feel like this increased worker count has actually done a lot to damage the viability of cannon rushes. Although they're not completely gone, I think they're a lot less viable than they used to be.
Yeah, it's not something you see a whole lot. It's becoming a little bit more of a novelty in Legacy of the Void, which I think makes it that much more interesting when you do see one. So again, nothing lost there. We may see them less, but they become that much sweeter when we do see them. A third will be taken right now for viOLet and Masa, as they're definitely going to look to power up economically early and fast. We'll have to wait and see what MC and HuK's response to this is. It'll be interesting to see. Spawning pool is almost done now, too. No gases yet for viOLet Masa, as to be expected, considering they're taking a fast third base. They're going to want to power up those drones, focus on the mineral income. But I'm really interested to see what MC and HuK, you know, they're one of those they've always been known their whole careers as hyper-aggressive players. They will punish you hard for being greedy. And Legacy of the Void, though, things have changed. We'll see. You could get away with some of this greed as a Zerg player, especially. Being a Zerg player myself, I definitely, I love macro games, and kind of like Legacy of the Void may start faster. I find macroing as a Zerg is easier now more than ever, and it's harder for your opponents to punish you for it. But I like to see, this is the highest level you could possibly get in Archon mode, so we could maybe take this build, if our Protoss players are successful with it, and copy it for our latter games.
They're opening Stargate, actually.
Okay,
MC and HuK have a
go.
Stargate in production. Interesting. Probably for some Oracle play, I have to imagine. That does very, very well, assuming they're just Queens in defense and not Spore Crawlers or Hydras. And the timing on this means we probably won't see any Hydras in defense. So here comes an Adept. There are a lot of Lings out. That Adept is going to get surrounded and killed by these Lings. Yep, getting chased on down. Oh, but a cancel. Oh, cancel on the Psionic Transfer. The Adept fake out there. Just doing a poke around, trying not to lose the Adept.
Just trying to get some
Oracle
scouting
on the way
done as well. Just to make sure he knows what's up. He's going to see that there's not a whole lot for gas going on. 3 gases are going down by the looks of 4 Zerg players, but he's not going to have any gas of significance for any sort of tech, as these Adepts are going to try to put in a little bit of hurt to our Zerg players. Just forcing the issue here, maybe even forcing some units that viOLet Masa don't want to build, but they do decide to retreat a little bit at the moment. Actually, no, they're coming on back. Overlord does spot them, though, so it won't be a surprise to viOLet Masa. This is just, again, a little testing of the waters. This Overlord, a little bit unfortunate for HuK MC, as they throw down their third base. The Oracle is spotted
and Spore Crawlers immediately in response here. There they are. Yep. Yeah, I mean, basically the Queen does a great job against the Oracle, but without Spore Crawler support, it's just not enough to prevent the death of like 8 of your drones. So for sure, having the Spore Crawler is very, very useful. The Oracle basically going after transferring drones, trying to pick up Zerglings as well, using that Pulsar Beam ability, but the spores are now up. The Queen's coming around at the same time, just getting shots off, and it's not really going to go very well for the Oracle harass, but in the end, HuK and MC doing what they can, and the Adept pressure has just been insane on all mineral lines really all the time, it seems like. Yeah, 10 kills already.
Again, splitting the attention of our Zerg players by sending the Adepts one way and the Oracle the other way. The Oracle managed to pick off, you know, a handful of workers here and there, and still it picked off 3 that were transferring alone. That is still not bad, and the Oracle managed to stay alive. But in that time, the Oracles, the Adepts were elsewhere and killing workers. Over 10 workers went down in a matter of moments. Again, just because 2 Adepts and an Oracle. That is amazing. And it wasn't because that particular composition is powerful. It was how it was executed that made it so.
Absolutely true. Roach Warren on the way, as well as 2 Evolution Chambers and a Lair coming up for our Zerg team. Metabolic Boost being researched a little bit late, but that's okay. I don't think they were planning on any Ling pressure at all. So we'll have to see what happens with that Roach Warren. Probably some Ravager play, I have to imagine here. And with the transfer, or the transition here, looks like a Robo Facility and a Twilight Council coming up for MC and HuK.
I like this Masa and viOLet trying to keep that drone alive here, just canceling and remaking a Spore by the looks of it. Oh, it does go down, the Oracle, but it served its purpose. The third base is secured for MC HuK, which is exactly what they wanted to do with that push. I think it did a lot more damage than they intended, and to the detriment of viOLet and Masa, as the worker count is largely the same. Actually, 2 up probes for HuK and MC, which is not a situation you want to be in as a Zerg. You want to be ahead in drones from your opponents if they are Protoss and Terran. This is not a situation at all. A little bit uncomfortable. They will take that 4th base, but immediately scouted by our Protoss players.
Hallucinated Phoenix for the win.
What a timing, like instantly. That is, man, map hacks. That's pretty much what any lesser player would be raging about that, that's for sure. But it's just because that's how high level these guys are. They know the timings, and they know what to look for and when to look for it. Creep spread's pretty nice, though, by viOLet and Masa. Again, as expected in this Archon mode. you could devote some a little bit more attention to spreading that creep. Creep does spread a lot faster in Legacy of the Void, so do keep that in mind compared to Heart of the Storm and Wings of Liberty.
And it also dies a lot more quickly too. If you kill a creep tumor, that creep recedes a lot more quickly than it used to. So it builds faster and dies faster for more, I think, I would say more dynamic type games. So the Warp Prism is here, just providing some support on the front lines. Here comes some Stalkers. Blink is just about to finish, not quite there yet. And the Aspire is on the way for the Zerg player, but nowhere near. They're going to have to hold this basically with Roaches at this point. And Force Fields are pretty darn good, keeping a lot of the Roaches out. Oh, even nice. Better along that left side. Now that base is severely threatened by these Blink Stalkers. Some Ravagers do show up. Throw down a Corrosive Bile to take out a Force Field, which doesn't happen as often as I would like to see as a Zerg player, but for sure, Corrosive Bile on Force Fields is fantastic. Do it all the time, players.
Yeah, Blink just finished now, too. So the aggression for MC and HuK will not stop by the looks of it, as the cost effectiveness of these Stalkers has quadrupled in essence. But the Corrosive Bile is really really good for these Ravagers. Lings, not enough Lings on the field right now, as these Stalkers manage to clean it up fairly effectively. There is a lot of supply here for Masa and viOLet, and they managed to push back this Gateway army just for the time being. Now,
yeah, Corrosive Bile.
That lands.
Good hit there. Yeah, Corrosive Bile does do 60 damage in a splash damage radius that's fairly small. Stalkers don't have that many hit points, so Corrosive Bile do use it as much as you can if you're playing against the Stalkers there. But again, it's just it's a battle of attrition right here. Nobody really has the upper hand at all. There is a Disruptor on the field somewhere. I'm not sure if it will be joining this army or not, but the Stalkers recognize that they are whipped. They're going to go ahead and head on back home, try to kill what they can in the process, and a fourth base is coming up for HuK and MC.
Yeah, so excellent defense by viOLet and Masa. They decide to stop droning and get units out just in the nick of time as they scouted the Warp Prism and army moving across the map. But in the meantime, MC and HuK were taking a fourth base of their own behind that all. But a fifth base has just gone down for viOLet and Masa as well. But this will be spotted by MC and HuK, so no surprises for them either. So yeah, this is going to go into we call this the late game, but it's only about 9 minutes in right now.
Isn't it great?
But it's a beautiful thing. But there are some Mutalisks on the field that will pick apart this Warp Prism. So short-lived as it was, doesn't get any damage done. So nicely shut down by viOLet and Masa.
Yeah, another big attack here. Just straight Stalker again. Where are those Disruptors? I see them being produced in our production tab. Looks like they're just more in defensive positions right now. They're not going out with the Blink Stalker army. But at the same time, Stalker's doing fairly well on their own. They do have the +1 attack, which is excellent. They're clearing out creep tumors where they can. Overseers getting picked off as well. They're a little bit too slow to keep up with the main army. Another attack here. However, at the third base, the Mutas are trying to kill what they can. It's not a very big group of Mutalisks, but they pick up workers. Getting the Mothership Core would be nice as well. But all the Photon Overcharge in the world going down on those Mutas. And I don't think they're going to be able to get it. They're forced to retreat with only 2 left in their number.
Yeah, the Blink forward right now with these Blink Stalkers. Getting hit by some Corrosive Bile, but they're applying the pressure on the front door with an Immortal and a Disruptor in tow to help push back this Roachling Roachling Ravager army here, putting the pressure on the fifth base. It will immediately go down. Another blink here by HuK and MC as they do make that hatchery go away. Second Disruptor does join them in the fray as more Ravagers are being morphed in.
Oh, big hit there from the Purification Nova. Does do 165 damage to Zerg units. This is a fantastic unit, that Disruptor, moving along the front lines again. Stalkers with an amazing concave, left side, top side, right side. Roaches trying to do what they can in production. More and more Roaches, plus attacks on the way for the missile for the Zerg as well, but it doesn't look like it is enough. The Stalkers and the Immortals are just a great composition. Another Purification Nova comes on in and kills a bunch of Roaches and Ravagers, and the forward blink, the aggressive blink there from MC and HuK, and that's it. A GG from viOLet, a GG from Masa.
Wow. Nicely played. Again, the pendulum swung the other way in favor of MC and HuK as they take not only the game, but the series 3-0 in this best of 5 of the Gauntlet StarCraft Archon Showmatch. HuK and MC versus Masa and viOLet. So they take home $200, does MC and HuK. They have solidified themselves as the absolute pinnacle so far in the short history of Archon mode in Legacy of the Void, without question. I mean, if they didn't already prove it by how they toyed with, you know, who was it, Snoot and TLO, I think it was at BlizzCon. I mean, they were just show matches, just fun games, but, I mean, come on, they toyed with them. MC beat them both by himself, so it shows that the level of these guys, there's nobody there yet. But again, I've mentioned this before, I think Archon mode is is a potential future for StarCraft 2. It's highly entertaining. The games are always action-packed, and you'll never see as much, as many amazing plays as this. It's hard to even cast. There's so much happening at the same time. And as we're seeing the meta develop for 1v1 competitive Legacy of the Void, we're also seeing Archon mode take elements from that, and I hope to see more Archon mode, so we'll see the other way around too, as we've seen in the past. 1v1 take away some of the meta from Archon mode as well. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining us, guys. So for this event, also to remind you before we do close out, guys, the Gauntlet Global Finals $1,000 prize pool will happen on Monday, December 14th at 3 p.m. Central. That is 3 p.m. CST, where we have 16 unbelievably sick players, Falcon. Unbelievable. We have Jakshi, Mana, viOLet, Polt, True Firekick, Bjorn, and a whole bajillion more. And yeah, guys, so hope you guys tell your friends. Follow at Gauntlet SC2 on Twitter for updates on that and more, guys. Sponsor this event. So the whole so yeah, this whole event was sponsored by C2 and the Gauntlet crew. So please do give a shout out to them on Twitter. I'm Bobby Awesome. Falcon, do you have any final words from yourself, sir?
Yeah, again, just really great Archon mode match. Just shows the power of two players working together, doing what they can to defeat an opponent. And yeah, be back Monday for that global final. So very excited for it. In the meantime, you can catch me on Twitter and Facebook, as well as YouTube, all at /Falcon Paladin. 2 daily Legacy of the Void casts every single day. I see some of my fans in the chat there. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me and showing up. And again, we'll do this again on Monday.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a longer day on Monday, but it's be the best of days. Guys, all right, I'm Bobby Awesome. I want to thank the admins for this event, Element, and well, it was pretty much Element run the show behind the scenes by the looks of it. So thank you for that, guys. Please do tune in on Monday, the 14th, for the finals. Till next time.
Peace. Pretty good turnout too, about 600 plus in Twitch chat. Hello.